It's like
Live.
we were never gone.
It's Saturday night. Uh,
Okay, this is good. We're back. Everybody sounds good. I mean,
yeah,
if we did this long enough, we'd all sound perfect. I mean, I think we get better as the show goes on.
You
Um,
do.
Superfan Nadia, I want you to know this has been a lot of fun for me.
me
Um,
too.
Me
uh,
three.
uh, it's always interesting to me that I live in this little bubble sometimes talking with Bill, and I know there's like other, Melissa and Carlos, but it's always interesting meeting other people and how you can have like similar experiences and similar likes and have, I mean, I guess it makes sense if we're all going to see, if there's a show popular that obviously it touches more than one or two people, but it's still interesting to me how like, you know, one show across, on a TV can it, touch upon and people have experience with. Did you understand that, Bill? I was talking like I had
I
marbles in my
I understood it. And but I speak J, so I'm not sure everybody else did.
I got it too. I understood. Yeah, the gist of it. Yes.
But this is the great thing about the internet, right? As much as a steaming pile of burning garbage that it is on many occasions, it still has the power to unite people from hundreds of miles apart on subjects that they, can enjoy and discuss and have a good time with. So that's one good thing it's brought to everyone's life,
So
amongst
you've
many
been
others.
with us for so long, and I'm trying to think back to those early episodes and what a train wreck. I mean, I remember being very angry and nasty with Bill and and how you grow and change and try to be better or anything else like that. But anyway, um, since do you have any advice for us or improvements or topics you would like to see touched upon? I can't promise that Bill will comply, but I could always write them
Just
down.
I'm sure all
And
her suggestions will just be for me. Payne, get a new computer.
So
But as
I
far as directions how about directions that you'd like us to go in, or that you would like us to do more or less of, or whatever?
I think like over these past, I guess, I would
3 years.
say year, it has been. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's just like your formatting where you send something out to each other ahead of time so you both know, hey, this is what we're going over. But I guess, started paying attention to that more. And so I do feel there is some consistency on how you discuss your topics. And you may dwell on a topic for a certain amount of time, but you move on. So that has been like a vast improvement. And honestly, compared to some of the other podcasts that I listen to that's in the same range as you all, you guys are on par. Like from your
sure.
length to your theme music to your list of topics, your range of topics. I just think you guys are doing great. Like I say, you have seen how it has grown and it does have more of a formatted feel. So I think you're doing great.
Well,
It's interesting that you say that because we used to be a lot more formatted and scripted. And then at one point, we just decided that the whole impetus to starting this show for us was that we sort of wanted to just share with other people the conversations that we have off air just about every day anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think it allowed us to be more us and less
Mm-hmm.
rehearsed, or less, I don't know what I want to say, but it's just, I think, throwing sort of like the script in the air and just saying, let's just go off the cuff, I think has made our show more, I think, more relatable, because it's more of like what we thought of in the first place, which is just a conversation with us that
And
we
I
would
do
have
feel,
anyway.
yes, like when you talk now, it's like, what did you do this weekend? And when you start that, yes, that is it's like, it's just so funny to hear. And that's why I say I laugh so much because you two are just going back and forth. So that I definitely agree with. But
Right.
like, even like you say, even though you may dwell on the topic, you do realize you got something else to talk about. So you'll
Right.
you'll move on from it. So, but yeah, like I say, I love it. So um
Well, we love to hear that.
yeah, I'm
well,
thinking it, like I say, you starting from the beginning, there has been so many changes and improvements, I guess, that you're doing good. You're doing great to me. So
Well, thank
I
you.
know what you're doing. You're trying to get another invite on the show.
not even.
Mission
If it
accomplished.
happens,
Mission
I-
accomplished.
No, I thank you for giving me this opportunity because for the longest I would not, even if I listened to podcasts, like I would not reach out and say, hey, you know what? I think you guys do great. Here's some things that you could improve on. And so you're like one of the first podcast where I've done that. And then your receptiveness to that information is what made me also keep being a part of it because it's like, oh, okay, they actually read these. Oh my gosh. So I totally appreciate, taking what I say and, treating it seriously. So I thank you so much.
Oh no,
Well,
we
thank
treat
you.
the comments seriously. Trust me, we treat them
Yeah, we do.
seriously.
We read all of your emails and share them. So
And look, and this is the thing with my son because I told him I was like they have 3 super fans and I am one of them. So
it's an elite group. So,
yes.
smaller though it might be.
So I am so honored and thank you for letting me be a part of your show today.
Well, we
Yeah,
would love
thank
to have you on again. So keep us, keep a open airspace for us at some point.
Oh, I will. I totally.
Well, thank you for taking the time, and keep listening.
Oh yes, I will.
All right, listeners,
And
that
we'll keep
was
talking. Because we do that.
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
that was
and enjoy it.
super fan Nadia, hailing out of Tampa, Florida, and anyway, thanks for
next
being on
time.
our show.
All righty. See you guys
Thanks,
later.
Nadia.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Bill,
Hey,
we's back.
We's here.
Okay,
I think that went well.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's hilarious when she said musicals. I'm telling you. I mean, really?
I mean, hey, there are millions of musical fans out there. It isn't just that,
Is
It
there
isn't
a
just
fan
you that-
out there with hardcore horror in their hearts? Hardcore horror in their hearts.
Sure, I'm not sure if I'd necessarily want to be in a small elevator stuck with them, but I'm sure they're out there.
I mean, this is Halloween. Are we gonna do anything special for Halloween for the show? Halloween?
Halloween's on a Wednesday, so no.
Well, I mean, we have a show in another 2 weeks. Would be October. What is that? 21. October 21.
Is it? Well, we
So-
can do a horror theme if you want. I mean, we could talk about how you introduced me to horror movies and how I've never been the same since.
Okay, that's fine. I guess we can go over that whole list. I've been plugging Shutter. I've been watching everything possible on Shutter now.
Well,
I mean-
I'm glad somebody's getting their money's worth because I'm about to shut that shit right off. So, my husband isn't milking me for any more fucking money on his streaming shit he doesn't want to learn how to
I
do.
know,
So.
I know that $5 that he just won't learn how to operate the system.
Right. Well, I mean, you know what? It's not even about the $5. If he watched the shit, I wouldn't care. But if he can't figure out how to do the damn remote control, I can't tell. You can lead the horses to the water, but you cannot make them drink.
I had a nice time with Superfan Nadia, and I don't want you to ruin my mood that I'm in by going on long diatribes. But I'm going to give you the floor. I'm going to give you the floor with the understanding that you're going to be a minute and 30 seconds and no more. I don't.
I've got a 3-page review ready, Payne. You're crushing my spirit. What's that about?
So you decided to be one of those people to go see Venom this weekend. You went this morning, didn't you?
I did. I went at 11 o'clock this morning.
So what made
I
you
barely made the
rush
show.
out to go see it? Because there's been a lot of movies that have come out recently that you cannot pull yourself out of your pajamas to go see at a theater. But yet, Venom with a guy with a slobbery tongue ready to rip off arms and legs somehow got you to a theater. And it's a supervillain. I mean, this doesn't sound like something.
No,
you would do.
it's in the superhero comic book / supervillain / action adventure genre. So it's in my one of 3 requirement listings to go see a movie or to sit down and watch a movie. If it's a superhero, if they're singing and dancing, or if it's made animated movie. then it automatically qualifies. Now, whether it gets me out of my house to see it or not, that is because it is a huge Spider-Man character in the world of Spider-Man, and I'm already invested in the third now universe of Spider-Man movies that we've gotten, and we're getting yet a fourth in December, which we got an extended trailer of at the end of the last tag for Venom. You know, there were two tags. One of them was introducing Carnage, and then the second one was basically an extended trailer for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So
Okay. All right. Well, minute and 30. What did you think?
Um, I would have to say that I agree with the people who say it's generally speaking a bad movie. Now, having
Oh.
said that, did I dislike the movie? No, I did not.
Oh. Okay.
Did I love the movie? Probably I'd have to say no. But you know, when you tell me I can't differentiate between like, you know, what is award worthy or what isn't award worthy, whatever, this clearly is not to me gonna get anything but Razzies by the time it comes around for next year. It's really over the top in a lot of places. And I'll tell you what it reminded me of most of all than any other movies that we've seen is really Spawn. A lot of it reminded me of Spawn.
Okay.
From the sort of cheesy effects to the sort of bad acting, which Tom Hardy, I don't know what he's been in besides Bane, but you know, I've read reviews or quotes from reviews that were said, you know, I don't know what movie Tom Hardy is in, but it's not the movie I saw because Tom Hardy is sort of playing it straight, but the whole thing is just completely outlandish. And one of the things that really sort of like stands out, and I'm not sure whether it's in a good way or a bad way, is like the inner dialogue that he has with the Venom character, who, you know, it's in one hand, it's like kind of schizophrenic and he's a little bit insane and you feel sad for him. But then some of the Venom lines are absolutely hysterical, but not in a good dialogue way. It's just so fucking cheesy, but it's all a giant big ball of mozzarella. But I did not hate it. I did not. I don't think it's, you know, of all the Marvel movies that we've gotten lately, certainly not the DC movies, which, you know, fault them though you might about their tone or what have you. One thing they do is they flesh out the characters, you know, with a lot of dialogue and a lot of exposition. I don't necessarily have a problem with the level of dialogue and exposition. Most of the time, I think it's well written and it's well delivered. This movie lacks any of that. It is basically a hit you right in the ass action flick, and it doesn't have any time to explore any kind of character development whatsoever. It's like on Thor 1 level or less than Thor 1 level character development, which is not great because you have to be invested in order to give a shit what's actually happening. You have to see these characters have some kind of flavor or have some kind of reason why these stories are being told about these characters. And in Venom, there's just no even attempt to give you any like explanation of like who Eddie Brock is outside of being part of that symbiote.
Let me ask you. Wow. Was it too violent?
No, but some of the violence was distasteful in some ways. Like, you know, I'm sure you've seen the trailers where he talks about eating the guy's pancreas, liver, and he's rolling down the street like an armless, legless turd in the wind.
Uh-huh.
You've seen that trailer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he does a awful lot of biting off people's heads and eating them. So, I mean, you don't necessarily see all of like blood spurting out of the head, but you get the idea of what he's done. And you know, even though he's kind of an anti-hero in the movie,
Is he helping? I mean, this does sound like hero behavior, but I guess he's like the Punisher then, sort of.
not really, because the people he does this to aren't really bad guys. I mean, at the end of the movie, Eddie Brock says, you know, if we're going to stay together, you have to stop eating people because people can't just be eaten for no reason. And then he gives like a sarcastic response, which is funny. But I mean, it's just this is not hero or even anti. I mean, it's like kind of worse than Punisher level violence, but it's, I don't know. I just
So
find my heroes eating heads just distasteful.
with the extra scene of Carnage, with the next villain to pop up. One, do you think there will be a Venom 2? And has the Venom 1 intrigued you to want a Venom 2?
I'm going to be honest and say no. I don't know why this story needs to be told. I feel like it's when you're always talking to me about cash grabs and I never see the cash grab, I feel like this movie to me is a cash grab. And I don't understand why I'm supposed to care about the character of Eddie Brock or about the character of his girlfriend because there's no development of them in any other way other than they're pawns in this big galactic invasion story. And I don't know what it brings to the world of superhero films except to make it an extra long introduction to a Spider-Man villain that maybe one day. Would I like to see Venom in a Spider-Man movie? This is the same way I felt before I saw the movie, though. But yeah, do I want to see Venom in his own universe? Not so much.
Okay. I mean, because the reviews, I think you were telling me, not that that means much, started off with people said it was good, and then all of a sudden there was a deluge of bad reviews that also popped up then.
Right. I can totally see why the reviewers did not like this movie. Unlike many times where I get frustrated and angry because I feel like I didn't see the same movie that the critics see. This movie, I get exactly why people are like, this is horrible. It's Drek. I can see why they say that. I don't feel like it's the worst thing I've ever seen or could see, but I'm not going to be running out to buy the Blu-ray.
So what's going to be the purpose of Eddie Brock and Venom's character? Are they supposed to be helping the world against this future alien invasion? Like, or what's their goal? Are they just supposed to like exist and go to Costco on the weekend?
Well, the mad scientist guy who's responsible for bringing the symbiotes to the Earth wants to get people to become part of the symbiote so that he can explore the outer reaches of space using the symbiote as like a spacesuit so that people can survive out in that planet wherever they came from. So he's kind of like the bad guy, and because of his interaction with Eddie, Venom feels like he doesn't want the world to be destroyed by the incoming invasion that this guy is trying to start. So he ends up being on the side of humanity because he doesn't like the idea that the symbiotes will come and take over the Earth.
And Venom is cool with this?
Venom is the one that doesn't want that to happen because of his interaction with Eddie. He wants Eddie and the people of Earth to live.
I see. So he's influenced him. Before he was okay with it, but now that he's bonded with Eddie, he thinks differently now.
Right.
So
it's really the loosest possible explanation for what he possibly could want to be saving people for, but
okay. All right. You don't feel like you wasted your time, though?
No, I've wasted much more time than that. I mean, I'm not of the ilk of like, I can't wait to see it again. Like, it was okay. It wasn't. It certainly isn't going to win any awards for anything other than, like I said, Razzies. And I can see why people say it's bad.
We haven't done box office receipts yet, but I thought it made a shit ton of money.
I think it did make a lot of money. Now, as you know, the real test will be weekend 2 to see where the drop-off comes and the word of mouth starts spreading. But for weekend 1, it certainly looks like it might be a cinematic universe. You know,
oddly enough, your quick review of it hasn't turned me off to the film.
I think in a you liked Spawn, if I recall correctly, way back in 1997 when it came out. Yeah, and so you're actually in a way, you have created the monster now that you get so frustrated with a lot, because you're the one that took me to that movie. I didn't even want to see Spawn. I thought it was like comic book Drek. But you drug me to that and you liked it. And I hated it. But now you've created this monster where I can't get enough of these movies.
These are different times, though. These are decades ago. My tastes have improved. I've grown. So, but I
Fair.
still could be a fan of Spawn, but I'm not. Your review hasn't turned me off. I could probably see that there might be some problems with it, but I guess I would love to hold out for the idea that you could bring this character, which is, I still think the best way to build a universe is to kind of introduce the character in his own world, its little side story, and then combine him with somebody else. I think it would be a great thing to have Tom Hardy. I haven't seen the movie, but I still think it would be cool to bring Tom Hardy's Venom over into
Tom
what's his
Holland.
name? Tom Holland's world. I mean, that sounds intriguing to me and sounds cool.
It
Um,
does sound cool and it does sound intriguing. It's just the whole like
did you like the
Venom
special
in
effects?
voice. Say what?
Didn't you like the special effects of Venom?
Um,
Was it
yeah,
better than Spider-Man 3 special effects of Venom versus
I'm gonna
this?
say they're very similar. They're very similar, and I would not say better. And I will go one step further and say, if you force me to pick, I would have to say I like the Spider-Man 3 character of Venom more than this one.
Okay. Hmm.
So, an enjoyable romp. I would not want someone to pay full price or the 3D price for it, but a matinee for like $5, it was worth it. Overly long in places, and yet somehow paper thin on character. So, as much time as they spent in the movie, they really should have probably spent a little bit more on character development, I would say.
Okay. All right. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to ask Superfan Nadia if she was a Star Wars fan.
Well, that'll be for the next time we have her on.
I guess so. That's the one thing that I did not address. Well, anyway, there is some Star Wars news out there, Bill.
Sure.
John Favreau has dropped that there's going to be this. What is this? Going to be like this little side TV show universe?
It's
No, it's not
not
really
little.
a
It's going to be
universe,
It's going to be one of the most expensive TV shows ever made.
really, and it's going to be called The Mandalorian.
Yes. And the first
What the
picture from the
hell
set
is
was
really?
released.
I just saw that. I'm looking at it right now. What the
Right.
hell is a Mandalorian?
Well, I'm sure you're familiar with the character of Boba Fett.
I am.
Boba
Everybody's
Fett,
familiar with Boba Fett. Everybody finds him to be so cool.
right. Boba Fett is basically the only Mandalorian that's in the original Star Wars trilogy. But there's a whole entire population of those people, the Mandalorians, whatever, from the planet Mandalore, duh. And they're like warrior class, and Boba Fett's not even really a true Mandalorian. He takes the armor, as I believe it was explained in one of the Clone Wars series episodes. He takes on the persona of the Mandalorian warrior, but he's not actually of Mandalore himself. But anyway, there's a whole subgenre, subclass of people that have been written about in the expanded universe before it was turned into the Legends. And they were present a lot in the Rebels series. One of the Rebels was a Mandalorian character. So the lore for them goes, all through Star Wars. I think it is boiling it down. It's basically a space cowboy, if you want to say that for what a
You're calling
Mandalorian
it
is.
the lone gunfighter?
Sure. Similar to, like we were talking about before, some of those 70s and 80s Clint Eastwood westerns, Outlaw Josie Wales, et cetera, et cetera.
Here's the thing that John Favreau, which, by the way, didn't he direct the Jungle Book, the live action
He
Jungle
did.
Book? He sent out that says The Mandalorian. After the stories of Jango and Boba Fett, another warrior emerges in the Star Wars universe. The Mandalorian is set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order. We follow the travails of a lone gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy from the authority of the New Republic. Are you intrigued?
The Mandalorians are not my favorite characters to tell Star Wars stories about, and the ones that they've been written about that I've experienced aren't my favorites. So this isn't what I would say would be my go-to series for Star Wars to happen, but I'm certainly obviously going to give it a try. It's
Okay.
just not necessarily what I would expect. I would want but of course, it's a television series. They have to cap the budget someplace. So I get that they're telling sort of this micro story about these characters that have proved very popular amongst the majority of Star Wars fans. So yeah, I'm on board with it.
This has some sort of what was that movie that was it? Dark Tower. Seems to have some sort of like flavor like that. Um, I'm assuming we don't know anything about casting, do we?
We do not.
Okay.
We
And
know
what
some
is it?
directors that are in there.
Oh, that's right, because there was a whole list of directors that were going to be directing some of these episodes. I
Right.
wasn't able to find the names. Do you know some people?
Well, some of them might not be familiar to our listeners. Some of them are from the Star Wars animated shows. In fact, the first episode is from the guy who created Clone Wars and Rebels. Um, I mean, I think there's some. Bryce Dallas Howard is going to be one of the directors. That's obviously the Lady in the Water and what's her name from Jurassic World.
So you have to be excited with some of the people that they have directing.
I'm excited. I'm excited about the talent. I know the talent involved, and I know it's top notch talent behind the scenes. I'm curious to find out who they're going to cast. I'm a little bit curious as to why they didn't just make this generic Mandalorian character Boba Fett. They've set it between the original trilogy ending and before the Force Awakens trilogy starts, so that there's like a, I don't know, I think a 40-year period in there that they, can explore untapped characters. So
This is going to be on the Disney streaming network.
It is.
How much is this going to cost?
Well, they said it's going to be less than Netflix, so.
Less than Netflix. And are you going to be able to share a password with somebody, or are they going to put a lock on that?
Clearly, I don't know the answer to that just yet, but we'll find out when it happens. Because I can tell you one streaming network I will be subscribing to day one, $1, is the Disney streaming network.
Oh, I mean, after listening to Nadia over there, she's got all her stuff, the Roku, the Fire TV, and all her shows on lock. I mean, we're all trying to keep our streaming under a certain amount of money, but yet they keep coming out with these networks and these shows. And what am I supposed to do? I would like to try out The Mandalorian. I mean, especially if I get hooked after seeing a trailer. But Bill, I mean,
what are you going to do? I mean, it's like the fact that our cable bill is $240 a month, but if we turn off one thing, it's either going to jump or we're not going to have the same service and be able to watch the same shows that we want to watch. So when I told you when the bill came, my husband had like a shit fit and was like, ready to cut the cord. And then I'm like, well, if you do, you're not going to be able to watch Air Disasters and the haves and the have-nots. He was like, never mind. Just leave it alone.
You're operating it under fear, huh? That's what you do. You scare him, right. Be like, you won't have your show if you cut it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So basically, we're paying an extra $16 a month for 2 shows. But what are you going to do? They know. It's like they know how to get you. Here's the thing. We also have home security. I mean, we've got basically Spectrum owns like every fucking technological thing in this house. Okay. So we've got their internet, we've got their cable boxes and their DVRs, we've got their phone service, and we've got their home security. Basically, they've got us locked up. So.
Okay, let's move on. Where do I want to go with this?
I want to talk about Luke Cage.
Oh, okay. Go ahead with Luke Cage. Did we even ask Nadia if she even watches the Netflix show?
No, we didn't get that far.
What type of host are we, Bill?
Well, apparently rude and inconsiderate.
There's so much material, so much to touch upon, but go ahead. What about how it ended?
We watched the last 2 episodes of Luke Cage on Friday night. It was like a Luke Cage mini movie.
Wow, that's amazing. You guys were able to push through.
I know. Tell me about it. But I'm going to tell you. Disappointed. I mean, as much as I hate the Jamaican storyline, it felt like the ending of it was just like a real whimper. Like there was no big battle at the end with Luke and Rastaman. What's his name? Bushmaster. He just kind of got on a bus and left town after Mariah got killed. And it was like, that's it? He's just going to get on a bus and leave town? That's what happened, essentially. I mean, and then we have the whole, like, basically character flip of Mariah's daughter Tilda, who, was introduced on the show this season as sort of like a do-gooder, and the next thing you know, she's like, I want my mother dead. And she gives her like a poison kiss on the lips, like the Cinderella lady from or Snow White, the witch from Snow White. And it's like suddenly she's just like nasty and I guess power hungry, but I didn't see that coming from the character anywhere until it kind of happened. So that sort of felt like it was like out of left field, that sort of character change in Tilda. And I mean, basically, up until the point where Mariah told her she was basically a child of rape. Okay, well, I mean, does that really make people homicidal maniacs? I don't know. So I didn't really buy Tilda's change of character and that she, kissed her mom with the poison lips. And I just felt like it kind of, at the end of the season, it was just like it eked out. You give having Mariah give Luke the club, and I guess now Luke is going to become like, that's going to be his like power base now or whatever. I mean, Shade just goes away to prison. It just all felt like instead of ending with a bang, it ended with a whimper. And I kind of felt like following that whole season was a waste.
I find that, generally speaking, it's not like there's a million of them out there with some of these shows with Netflix, since it's 13 episodes long, that they seem, well, albeit slow, that they're stronger at the front end, oddly enough. And by the time they get to the 13th episode, it's almost like they're crawling over the finish line instead of revving it up more.
It's like it ran out of gas in the last 2 episodes. Or 2 or 3 episodes. In which case, why make them 13 episodes? Just make them 10 and make the show tighter. We talk about this all the time.
Well, that's, yeah. So you didn't really care for the character turn then, huh?
No, I kind of felt like they're turning her into Junior Mariah, and I would have rather just had Mariah because Mariah was a badass. And if I said there was a performance this year that was not to be underestimated, it would be Alfre Woodard as Mariah. She ate the screen every time she was on, and she was a character like you're always talking about Wilson Fisk. I think that she was right up there with Wilson Fisk as like one of the best villains in the Marvel universe, cinematic universe. And to have her just die like that, I mean, it was like, it just felt empty. It felt hollow. I mean, she was in prison. She cut the bitch in prison. She went to prison. She lost everything. And she was like, I'll still cut a bitch. I love Mariah. And I'm going to miss her character. And I don't know that they're going to come up with a villain that has as much backstory and as much history and as much viability as I think that character did. But so now we're stuck with Tilda taking over, I guess, as the Mariah level villain, it seems. Luke Cage running Harlem's Paradise.
Which I thought, if I recall, shows him that he could possibly be tainted by running such a club. Like,
well, sure, and I think
that's where they're going with it. It's a little bit darker for him.
Right, and I think that's really where that whole thing of Claire leaving him comes into play, where she just knew that he had this sort of darkness inside of him or whatever. And now, that's a possible exploration for them to go down. I don't know that that's an exploration I want to see them go down. I don't know that I want to see Luke behave in the way that some of the bad characters on the show have behaved, even though, maybe it's something that in the end it'll come out lighter from him walking through the darkness. But it seems like they're always trying to it's just the same thing like you're talking about with the Daredevil trailer. These characters walking down the dark path before they can come out in the light again. I don't know why everybody can't just stay. Some people can't just stay on the light, and some people are on the dark. I don't know.
Okay.
Didn't love it. I thought it petered out at the end. I liked the season as a whole in general. Better probably than the first season. But the last couple episodes just...
Okay. Well, I have something exciting I want to talk about, and I'm hoping that you watched it. Mm-hmm. Did you see the teaser trailer for The Boys?
I did not.
Oh, come on!
I was at the movies this morning, and I don't think it came out until this morning, and I came
No,
right home from the movies.
No, it came out more than 48 hours ago, Bill.
I did not see a thing about it on my Twitter. I did not know it was out there.
Okay. I need you to be jacked into the internet. I could have just sent you a text message next time. I'll do that, but I expect you to see this. Anyway, this is right up Nadia's alley because she's watching The Preacher, which is also, that's created by Garth Ennis. He also did The Boys. I need you to, I can't have this conversation with you until you watch the teaser trailer. Now, I'm going to repeat what The Boys is about. It's set in the mid 2000s in a world of corrupt and reckless superheroes who are kept in check by a CI super squad, the team title known as The Boys. This elite corporate owned superheroes, known as the Seven, are often in conflict with the boys, and that's the whole genesis of the whole show right there. I watched the teaser trailer where it shows all these heroes, the Superman like character and the Wonder Woman like character and the Flash like character. Either way, these corporate owned superheroes have a lot of secrets. They're not the do gooders as we think they are. And so the boys keep them in check. Now, I told you that I was not a fan per se of the comic book because it was a little bit out there, but I can't be helped but be attracted to the show to give it a shot, Bill.
Why?
So, I don't know. It just seems kind of cool. I mean, I'm a fan of Carl Urban. I don't know if they're going to go as far as they went in the comic book. And so if they don't, why not give it a shot? If they do, then I can just turn it off. I think we're going to have to give it a shot, Bill.
I will watch the trailer.
Text me later. I want you to watch the Boys teaser trailer. Then text me later what you think. And
okay, it's just, Jay, if they're going to have some of the behavior that we talked about that was in the comic, I'm not on board for that. I'm just not.
I know. I know. I'm not on board for that either. But
okay,
let's just see where it goes.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of like there's just certain areas we don't want to go, and let's just see what happens. But just watch the teaser trailer and give me
what
your
network
thoughts.
is it going to be on?
Amazon.
Oh, really? Okay, so there's no holds barred. Okay.
Oh, that's right. Speaking of not Amazon but Netflix, Netflix is going to be doing the Chronicles of Narnia.
Yay!
Any word on whether or not we're going to start with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or we're going to pick up from where the movies left off?
I haven't heard, but I think that the general consensus is that they're going to reboot it. So they're going to do The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe over again, as well as the Silver Chair, or excuse me, the Prince Caspian and the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So that's the plan anyway, Stan. So we'll see what happens if they run out of money.
I'm always a fan of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And if they wanted to keep redoing that movie over and over, I'd be fine because that's the story I'm most familiar with. I'm not familiar with Prince Caspian or the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I started to lose interest, and I don't know why, but maybe with a reboot on Netflix, I can watch it and get into it and then give these next two stories a chance. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too. The only trepidation I have about it is that it's going to be on Netflix, which for my experience with Netflix is the Marvel Netflix shows. And the biggest problem I have with those shows is that it feels like they are under budgeted. And so they do not have enough money in their effects budget to really give you a proper superhero demonstration, which ends up feeling like more of a crime drama than a superhero show. And that's an issue for me. And so I'm really hoping that they pump up the budget level for the Narnia show because it's a fantasy epic and it needs to look like a fantasy epic, which means, it's going to have a certain budget level. And Aslan is not going to come cheap. I mean, that's just one effect. That's just one part of it. And that's going to be extremely expensive.
How much did it cost to make Jungle Book?
A lot of money, about 150 million, if not more.
Okay, so are you thinking that's what we need then?
Well, if not more, yeah. Jungle Book was only a 2-hour movie. You're talking about, what, 14 hours here? at least if you make a 2-hour movie for each of the 7 books.
I'll repeat what I said to you already on the phone or online. If everybody starts paying for their Netflix subscription, they'll have enough money to special effects that you want.
Right. Okay, because Netflix
You're
doesn't
gonna get
have
some
enough
broke
money.
ass land. That's what you're gonna grow. You're gonna get some
Right.
broke ass looking lion.
And that's just not what I want.
All right. Well, let's talk about the big news that hit out there for the super geeks out there in the DC world. There was a 5-minute trailer that dropped for the Aquaman movie set in December. 5-minute trailer, Bill.
Yeah, it's a long trailer.
Oh, I can tell in your
But
voice.
it also basically it had like some scenes that basically were lifted directly from the movie. So it's deceptive a little bit when you say it's a 5-minute trailer because some of it was just like section of the movie.
Yeah. Okay. And
Did you love it?
I thought it was very cool in a lot of aspects, and I think if it's for these trailers here, if people are on the fence and you're trying to put your best foot forward and try to attract eyeballs to the screen, sometimes you have to do a little bit extra. Sometimes you got to put a little crack in the soup. And I think this is the best thing they could have done. I mean, they
Why?
did the long action scene. You see them lifting up a sub. Then you even have what's her name, Tom Cruise's ex-wife. What's his
Nicole
ex-wife?
Kidman.
Nicole Kidman in a fight scene. I think it showed you enough action to sit there and be like, Aquaman can be kind of cool. This Black Manta character is kind of great. They're going to have big set pieces. It gives you enough meat on the bones and going, if I was going to sit at home, I think I'm going to go out and see Aquaman. It puts me in a much better position that I'd rather see Aquaman than in Shazam. Shazam, I've just already written off. Like, oh, this looks like crap to me. I'm not interested in it. It's too kid fair. But Aquaman, if I was on the fence, I'm like, ooh, this could be interesting. Now, what I will say is I'm still not sold on Jason Momoa. Physically, he can be Aquaman. I still don't know if he's capable as an actor, and the way they're treating his character as the idiot king, I am just not down for. I
It's
just
just
think
like Thor, though. It's Thor of the Ocean.
yeah, I'm not a fan of that either, Bill. And I
Okay.
find I'm just not a fan of somehow leaders of countries being stupid.
Guess you really don't like your president then, huh?
I'm not a fan, and the more he comes across as a dunderhead, I
I
understand
don't
that
know
this
if
could
he's
be
a
one of those things
dunderhead.
that
I think he's a musclehead. I mean, this is kind of like
yeah, I'm not a
generalization.
fan of that. Yeah, eventually, I mean, we could all sit here and project that this is the adolescent role and he'll grow into it. That's fine. In the current state, I'm not a fan of it. Let me just pee on it.
What does
Did
that?
you
Why
get
does everybody have to
all
be
of
a super
that?
genius, Jay?
Le-
Why do all the superheroes have to be super
le-
geniuses?
Did you get it? Did you get all of that? No, I got all of that. It's da 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 da. It's just like, oh, can we just get somebody that's a little bit smarter?
You
Whatever
know,
here.
here's the thing.
Those. Go ahead. Go ahead. You
Sometimes
like the muscle heads, huh? You like the muscle heads. That's what you're into, huh? Go
I
ahead. I'm sorry. I'll
I
give you
like
your
them.
floor.
I like them big and stupid. I don't. This way, you get the best of both worlds. You get a lot of the good stuff
Oh, okay.
that you like, the muscles and the brawniness and all of that. And then you don't get as
Oh.
much of the stuff that you don't necessarily need, like all the yappy, yappy, tappy, tappy, talk, talk, talk. Okay? So I don't really have a problem with it on face value. I get it that I mean, but I think they're maybe slightly hitting you over the head with the fact that he's just not the sharpest knife in the drawer a little bit in the trailer. Um,
You
but
think?
I don't know why every superhero does have to be like, Batman level, Flash level, whatever level genius. It's okay. They can be a little dundery as long as they know how to when they have to do the
Pick up a
action.
trident and smash some things?
Right. Hulk smash. Hulk's no rocket scientist either. I don't have a problem with Hulk. Because Bruce Banner is an actual rocket
You know what
scientist.
it is? It's over the top and it's overkill on trying to show him that he's not that smart. I don't think it's necessary for his character. I think you could kind of show him that he's maybe a surfer guy, but I don't know if you have to really just overplay it as much as they did in the trailer.
Right,
I
and
think
I
it does
would
it.
not
I think it
disagree with
does a
that.
disservice to the character, especially one that you're going to be having King of the Seas and want people to follow and unite the world. I think it undercuts the overall place where the movie's headed.
But I also think it gives room for growth. You know, Thor wasn't exactly the deepest emotional character when he first started his arc either. And I would argue that by the time we reach Infinity War, he has the weight of the world on his shoulders, and you can now take him seriously, even though Thor's still not the brightest box of chocolates. That's just I'm mixing shit up, but he's still not the brightest bulb in the drawer.
Okay. So what did you think of the trailer? After all this is said, you didn't tell me what you thought of it.
I liked the trailer. I thought some of it was a cheat because they lifted sections of the movie right out of the movie and just called it a trailer, which I could have lived without. I would rather have seen them in the movie. But I thought the action was pretty cool. I thought the fact that they put him in the actual comic costume at the end of the trailer was sweet as hell. I liked it as a rule. I mean, I've watched it several times. I've probably watched it at least 6 or 7 times so far. So, yeah, I mean, it has me looking forward to the movie more than anything else I've yet seen for the movie, for sure.
We've been friends a long time. You know what line irritated me because you know how I feel about this, right? Go ahead.
Which one?
The line where at the end are like this: "I am no king. What could be more powerful than a king?
A hero.
A hero."
I
You
like
know what
that
I
line.
I hate when my heroes whine about their powers, Bill. I'm just a nobody. I'm just a commoner. How can I lead this people of Atlanteans and unite the world? I'm just a regular Joe Schmo.
You have
You
to
know
give him
what?
credit, Jay. At least he knows he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Okay? At least he's not like walking around going, "Why can't I lead? I'm just as smart as the next guy." Well, no, actually, you're kind of stupid.
I want
So,
you to know, I started lifting submarines up into the air and then throwing giant crabs and swimming at high rates of speed. Oh, I'm leading the country. I can tell you that right now. I am leading the damn country. There won't be any question.
wow.
And the first thing I'm going to do is have you brought up on charges, federal offenses for like all the things that you download illegally and everything else like that.
Wow,
Make sure
really?
you pay
You're just going
full
to put that
price.
right on the show. Really? I don't do that anymore, just in case the feds
I
are
will
listening.
use the weight of the Justice Department and I will bring down all the weight of the Attorney Generals upon your head. That's what I'll be doing.
Wow. Nice.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap this up here shortly before we get to the box office receipts. I did see a movie called Mr. Rogers. Was it Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Is that on Netflix already?
That's not. It's the disc, Bill. When I
Oh.
speak,
Well, because
everything's
I'm
not
interested
streaming.
in that movie, and I wondered if it was available. I might put it in my queue, bitch.
So I put it.
Damn.
I put it on, and my woman came and sat on the couch and watched it with me. It was about an hour and a half. Won't You Be My Neighbor? And it might be. It's in my top 10 movies of the year so far.
Really?
It's just
About a documentary about Mr. Rogers made your top 10 list.
I teared up, Bill, at some points in time. So I mean, I teared up. And
Isn't
it's
it nice to know that there are people out there in the world that aren't necessarily like some kind of sick perverts and some kind of like, molester, Chester, whatever?
Oh, what's sad about it is when you look at it, and you sit there, and it's just some of the lessons and things he was trying to convey. It's always the same thing. It's like the golden rule: do unto others as you will. It's very simple, but it seems to get lost. And just kind of watching the documentary, just kind of wishes for the simpler times, and you're looking at it going, I don't want. I should have asked Nadia this, and she has children. I don't know if a show like this can exist nowadays, or people appreciate it nowadays. And two, I just don't know if Mr. Rogers could survive in 2018. I mean, his mannerisms, his behavior, he'd be brought up on like
Really?
charges nowadays. Yes, you look at the way the world is, and I don't know, can he change the world or would the world change him? but I don't know. But either way, it was very touching to watch, and I enjoyed it. And some of the characters on there were gay, believe it or not.
The characters in real life, the voices, or the people, the characters
Some of the people, like
themselves.
the one guy who played an officer, I guess the only black character on there, the black
Yeah, I
guy
knew
that
him.
came in, right? He was gay. Um,
Okay.
not that that means anything, but it just shows some of the issues he was dealing with in a way that when I watched Mr. Rogers, I didn't think upon or catch.
Now, did you say your girlfriend watched this with you
Yeah, yeah.
and she liked it?
Oh yeah, she enjoyed it very much. It's kind of hard not to enjoy what he was trying to do. I mean, it's one of those things like you're watching somebody try to do good, and
You
it's
guys
like,
watch the most random fucking things. I swear to God, it's just so fucking random.
well, I turned it on because I have discs in my house, and if the discs aren't being watched and putting it back in the mail, I'm losing money. So the shit needs to come in and it needs to get out. And so, as I put it on, she came by and she sat down, and then it's one of those things that once you started watching it, you cannot turn away from it. And so, um, anyway, yeah.
I just would not have pegged you to put that in your queue. That's all. I would not have thought that that would be something that you might stick in
What,
there.
what am
But
I? What am I? A dunderhead? What am I? Just sitting
no,
like
it's just
Hulk
it's not that.
smash?
It's just that I mean, it's a television show for kids that was made like decades ago. I mean, it's kind of really, hopefully not forgotten, but not at the forefront of today's. Because you're always about like the now, what's in the zeitgeist now, what's on the top of your queue that's been out that people
Well,
haven't
we
seen till
know,
now.
Won't You Be My Neighbor? You know Mr. Rogers. I'm aware of him. I mean, maybe if it was a show that I've never heard of. I mean, there's some certain kids show now. I'm sure they're going to be doing documentaries on it. I'm like this. I think we were talking about this. Won't You Be My Neighbor with somebody else, and they mentioned a show like just this weekend, Superfan Melissa's niece, something about the couch, characters on the couch or underneath the couch, on the
Okay.
couch. And I'm like, I never heard of this show. I'm sure if they end up doing a documentary on that, I don't know if I'll put that in my queue because I'm like, I never heard of this show. But either way, I hope you watch it so we can talk about it at some point in time.
Well, once it gets on Netflix
Oh,
streaming, I
that
will.
reminds me, Tom Hanks is going to be playing Mr. Rogers in an upcoming movie.
Right. I saw the like photo or whatever first look photo of that. Yeah, that looked cool.
Anything else you want to add before we get to box office receipts?
No, I gave my review of Luke Cage. That's really all we've really seen except for Venom, so I gave that review. I think we're good.
Okay, we're good. By the way, George R. R. Martin's Night Flyers TV show is going to be dropping in December of this year.
So it's a space thing?
Yes. Space horror, I think.
Really? Okay.
I'm kind of excited. I made sure I looked that up because I was kind of like all about, when is that hitting this, hitting the television here. Okay, Bill.
Right.
No sound effects here, but for the weekend of October 5th and 7th on our 75th episode, the Diamond episode, the #1 movie, Venom, bringing in
And how much has it made? Because
$80 million domestic.
how much?
$80 million
Right.
domestic, and foreign, $125 million.
Now I heard that they were estimating it to be between 57 and 65, so it overperformed that what they thought it was going to do.
Oh, it overperformed. Yeah, yeah. So its budget is $100 million. So it looks like Sony's got a hit on their hands, right? No? Yes? No?
Yeah, it does. I don't know if it deserves all of that money, but that's not for me to decide. But in my opinion, it didn't.
So you had two sets of people out here. You had the people who went out to see Venom, like yourself, with
Right.
Tom Hardy, which is probably one of the bigger hits for him, to be quite honest with you, as a solo
right.
actor, which is odd considering all the things that he's done and been in. But you had the other competing people, which is the #2 movie, A Star Is Born, pulled in $41 million domestically with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
Now, how much did that? I mean, what was the budget on that?
Doesn't give me a budget on it.
What was the number? It came in number what?
#2. with
Okay.
$42 million.
I'm surprised about that a little bit, only because that movie has gotten so much love. Like, people are saying
Oh,
it's just so
Lady Gaga
fantastic.
is going to be nominated for being the best actress
Right.
for her role in this.
The movie's going to get Best Picture, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm surprised that it didn't make a little bit more than 40
It's
million.
a critic's darling, if you will.
Right.
Wasn't this based off another? Wasn't this a remake?
This is like the fourth remake of this story. Okay. I mean, I don't know if the original was even the one with Judy Garland, but that one came out in like the 40s. Okay. Then of course there's the one with Barbara Streisand, which came out
That's
in the
the one
70s.
I think that's the one I knew. Okay, I
Right.
didn't know.
Then there's this one, and I think the Judy Garland version was actually a remake. So I think this is the fourth time they've told this story.
Any interest in seeing A Star Is Born?
I'm just gonna say no and be kind. I don't think that Lady Gaga looks like something. I yeah, I'm
You
just
know,
gonna let it go.
I think I've always told you that she is so nondescript to me. Like, her face is very weird. Um, like, it's not distinctive to me in any form or fashion.
It's distinctive. I think for
Uh,
me, it's
okay.
just not positive. See, this is not going to take us anywhere that needs to be
No,
going.
it's not
I'm
going
just
to
going
be
to leave
positive.
it.
I'm just giving my 2 cents on Lady Gaga. I'm not saying she's not talented. I'm just saying that for some reason she doesn't her face doesn't always stick with me in my
Oh yeah, that's not negative at all.
mind. Number 3 in its second week, Smallfoot, pulling another $15 million, bringing its grand total domestically to $42 million and worldwide $75 million. Smallfoot.
I don't know how much these things cost, but that sounds like a decent haul.
Okay. So it's Warner Brothers. You're not going to go check out Smallfoot when it hits disc or anything like that?
Nope. Is it Disney proper or Pixar? No, I'm out.
No. Okay. Here is another movie in its second week of release, Night School, pulling in another $12 million.
That is the one with Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish and obviously Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, right.
And it costs $30 million to make. And so far in 2 weeks, it's got its worldwide gross at $58 million worldwide.
Are
Now,
you interested in seeing it?
It looks terrible. But once again, I'm a fan of Tiffany Haddish and Kevin Hart. But we're now, this is what I'm talking about, choices. Like, she's trying to get, as you say, get paid.
Sure.
So she's doing everything, and I think a lot of the things that she's doing is crap. Like, she was in Uncle Drew, and I think people see her as a talent, but instead of trying to maybe like, one shot, one kill, she's doing like Soul Plane 3.
Bitch has got bills, Jay. She knows also that her time on this plane of infamy is limited, so she's going for the gusto.
I know, but this is like a Melissa McCarthy thing. You know what it is? She could be like Melissa McCarthy here. And I'm not saying that everything that Melissa McCarthy does is great, but I feel as though she's going to stereotype herself. But
You feel like she's sold out.
well, I don't want to call it selling out, but it's almost when everybody shows up at your house with a script, you don't want to turn it to like early Ben Affleck, where you just do anything
Wow.
for like paycheck. Where Nicolas Cage is at this point. You, I don't know where the line is, Bill, because I mean, obviously she has to drive her cars and pay her rent, but Night School, does that sound like?
I don't know. No one's ever offered me over $1 million to do anything,
Of
but I can
course.
tell you if they did, I would have to
Alright.
think twice before saying no.
Okay. The number 5 movie, A House with a Clock in Its Walls. It's been out for 3 weeks. It pulled in another $8 million, bringing its worldwide gross to $80 million with a budget of $42 million. Jack Black and Kate Blanchett.
This is the kind of Halloween movie I can get into. Not scary, just spooky and kind of fun.
Oh, you're like a Goosebumps guy?
Yeah,
Goosebumps?
I think I want to see that one too.
Okay.
You
I'm
know, the
I'm
Monster Squad level kind of scary.
I know when Nadia said Monster Squad, that was always my favorite. One of my favorites right there. I'm going to say this again to you because I said it off air to you. That I need you to come to me when you decide to just branch out and find a horror movie. Okay?
Okay.
Before you bring it to your husband and show him a trailer to see if he's interested in, I need you to ask me some 2 cents and go, Payne, is there any horror movies out there or TV shows, something that lighthearted
I
fare?
did ask you that, and it was for Conjuring, and that's going to be one of our Halloween movies this season. So
But yet
I
you broke out and found some other shit on YouTube with Tales of Halloween before asking.
it happened. I happened across it. It looked like something we would be interested in, so I shared it, and he wanted to watch it. It was a mistake, granted, but I didn't know that before we watched it.
That's like me sitting here going, Chris and I saw a musical this weekend. We saw Blase Blah, Blase Blah. And you'd be like, what?
It's sweeping the nation
Why
now.
did you watch that musical? You'd be like this. There's this, there's that. You would have gave me a list of things to try out if we were going to be trying out musicals.
Mhm.
Okay?
Fair enough.
Okay, I'm just asking you. Just
Okay.
you don't have to take my opinion on it, but at least give me a shot. Give me like a chance.
I can do
to
that.
show- Okay, all right,
I will do that.
all right. Oh, yes. Guess who's coming downstairs?
Let me guess. Is it Burke?
My woman's in the house.
Oh, hi there.
House.
Is she
she's
like
telling-
really? Have you people not been talking long enough?
Yeah, she's telling me to wrap it up, Bill. She broke
Yeah.
her toe. She broke her foot.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, she's hopping along. I call her hop along now. All right, Bill. This has been fun, but I'm actually getting hungry.
Me too. Okay.
So, wait. I need you to keep talking because I got to find our music.
Really? You don't have the shit pulled up and ready to roll?
No, I had to reboot it, so therefore that had
It
to.
got lost.
Do we want
Don't
to
you have
go
a
out with?
folder?
No, it does not have a folder. Do you want me to go out with the music that we came in with, or do you want me to go out with our old?
Oh, we might as well stick to the theme and go with the new music.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, it's been fun.
It has.
What are you gonna do for this evening?
I'm going to go find. Maybe I'll go watch that movie. Now that it's completely slipped my mind of what it was. Oh, Greatest Showman that Nadia was talking about.
You're actually gonna go watch that?
I might do that. Yeah, I have it. It's in my
Wait,
collection.
you never seen it yet, or no?
No, I've never seen it.
Wow, look at you. Nadia's influenced you to go dust off that disc of Hugh Jackman, huh?
I might give it a try.
Okay, all right, that sounds fun. It's going to be a Chipotle night for me.
Yeah.
So it's always nice because my woman looks at me and she goes, "Are you having Chipotle tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I would like to have Chipotle." And it's also going to be 90 Day Fiance. I don't know if I'll have enough
Oh.
time.
Well, that sounds like fun.
It never gets old. Anyway, Bill, it's been good. A shout
Yeah.
out to all our fans out there, and special thanks to Nadia for taking time out of her day and from her family to be on our show. It was a true pleasure, and
Absolutely.
we're all very blessed to have such loyal and faithful listeners.
Indeed, we are.
Bill, I will see you in 2 weeks.
Till next time.
Okay, peace out.
Bye.